Hey, good morning. It's Bruce from Buckeye Door Sales again. We're going to take just a few minutes today and we're going to change a gear kit in a Craftsman operator. Now, no doubt you've probably experienced it where you have a stripped gear in your operator. And you know that oftentimes is because you'll hear your garage door opener running, but it's not doing anything. It's not lifting the door, the chain's not moving, it's just humming, it's just making a noise. Well, what happens oftentimes is either the door is locked and you run the door, or something happens to the door, possibly a broken spring. You try to run the operator, and that can cause the gear to strip. Or it could be just a matter of your springs are out of adjustment. Your door is a little heavy, and so the gear and the operator will strip. It's a pretty common problem with the Liftmaster openers. It's really not a problem though. It's actually designed that way so that if something is wrong with the door, then the gear will strip, which is a pretty easy, fairly inexpensive repair. And that'll save you from having to buy maybe a top section for your garage door or replace your garage door entirely. So it's really a good thing that the gear does strip. So today we're going to show you how to change that gear. Now, there's several different ways to attack this project. One way is by doing it in the air with the door opener still installed and disassembling it while it's installed on the ceiling. Problem with that is at some point in time you have to have the motor supported. And if you don't have the motor supported, well, it could fall, hit the ground, damage the motor. Then you have to buy a new machine. So that's not an ideal way. So the way that we do it here at Buckeye Door Sales is that we remove the garage door opener assembly from the ceiling, and we either do it on the tailgate, on sawhorses, or on the ground, and we disassemble it that way. So if you're familiar with how to assemble a garage door opener, like you bought one at Lowe's or whatever, and you have to assemble the rail onto the head, then this is not going to be a problem for you. You're going to be able to take your garage door opener down, you'll be able to take the rail off of it, and you'll be able to work on the head itself and replacing the gear kit. Now, also, we might want to mention that in the gear kit, there are several items that you may need, you may not need. And you'll see as Simon changes this gear kit that he doesn't use all of the pieces, doesn't replace all of the pieces, but he replaces those that are compromised. And so pay special attention to that. So let's watch as Simon changes the gear kit in a Craftsman operator for us. So here we see Simon, he's taken the back cover off of the opener. And he's going to unplug the light assembly. Now as he unplugs the light assembly, he makes sure and saves all those screws. Now he flipped it around and he's getting ready to take the circuit board off. Now, as I said, we do this because it's really easier. If you can get used to just taking the operator down and taking the rail off of it, putting it on the tailgate, see how much easier it is than maybe climbing on a ladder, working on a ladder. Now he's going to take the limit assembly off. Now make sure you don't turn any of those dials. Leave the dials right where they are on the limit assembly. And also leave the carriage on the chain where you took the rail off of the opener. Leave that carriage in the exact same spot so when you put it all back together, then your limits are going to be set. Now here he uses a 5/16 nut driver to remove the motor bracket from the opener. And now you'll notice that this gear is not technically stripped. Now, we labeled this video and a gear replacement because that's the most popular thing. This is the same way you do it. But the problem with this opener was the top bushing went bad, and so it rubbed the shaft to where the top sprocket just fell off. It like a metal lathe, and it cut that shaft, and the top sprocket just came right off. So we're going to go ahead. It's the same kit that has the shaft, the sprocket, the gear kit, and so he's just going to go ahead and change it all. Now he's putting in this lower bushing now. Now you notice he's using his hammer. He's hitting it flat and deliberate, making sure not to hit it crooked, because if you mess that bushing up, it's gonna wear your shaft on the new kit that you have. So just take your time, tap that in real gently, so that it can seat itself in just a nice way. Now, we talked earlier about how there's some parts you change, some parts you don't. There's a worm gear right there that's a real hard plastic. Now, that worm gear never, hardly ever goes bad. And so make sure you inspect that gear to make sure that it's okay. Now he's starting to put it all back together. As you can see, he's putting the new gear kit with the shaft assembly back into the chassis. He's using the 5/16 finely threaded screws, and he proceeded to snap all that back together. He's got the motor assembly already in, and the limit assembly snapped back in. Now he's connecting the ribbon to the circuit board, and is going to connect that and screw that back together. Now, something you want to make note of is by the limit assembly, there's a small little connection, electrical connection. That's the RPM sensor. Now, you want to make sure and put the RPM sensor wires back on. Because if you don't, your operator is going to act funny, and you're going to wonder what's happening when you try to run it, and it's not going to work right, so you're going to have to take it all back apart. So make sure and connect your limit assembly as well as the RPM sensor back up. He's got the circuit board on. He's going to put the front panel on now, and he's going to make sure and connect the light socket wires. They only go on one way, so you won't get those mixed up at all. Now there's some fine thread screws and there's some coarse thread screws. And if you're going into a plastic grommet, I think he is here, you'll use the coarse thread screws, but the cover screws onto the case or the chassis, and so you'll want to use the fine thread screws there. That's what he's pointing out to Tristan. So right there he'll use the coarse threaded screws. He's done this for years. He knows exactly what screw goes where. He knows where the wires go. So if you're unsure about when you're taking it apart, take pictures. Use your phone. Take some pictures of the connections, the electrical connections. Hey, so you see, it's not that difficult, is it? You can change your gear kit in your garage door opener too. But if you can't, if it's something you don't want to tackle, feel free to give us a call, and here at Buckeye Door Sales, and we'll be happy to do it for you. So if you like this video, if you like the content that we share, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and comment. We really enjoy your comments too, so please make it a point to leave a comment. And also push that little bell notification so that you can be notified when we upload a new video. So again, thanks for watching, and this is Bruce at Buckeye Door Sales.